Hi, my name is Nadav Weiss, and today I will be showing Bornblum students how to write a Megillah. Hey Bornblum, so this is the Megillah that I have wrote for you guys. I'm going to zoom in on that. Okay. This took me about 80 hours to write, and if you remember at the beginning of this year, I actually came in and we wrote all the way over here. We wrote that first line together, if you guys remember. We wrote that first line in the Megillah. So this is a fully completed and kosher Megillah. So we're just going to wrap this up, and we're going to put it in here for safekeeping. And we're going to send this with Yaron, who visited me in Israel. We're going to send this back to Memphis, so you guys are going to be able to read this on Purim this year.
Our guest this week is no stranger to me because he's my oldest son, Nadav Weiss. Hi, Nadav. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. It's good to see you. I know right now you're sitting in your usual spot in your yeshiva in Modi'in, Israel. But I thought today, with Purim coming this week, you actually have a role in how we at Bornblum are celebrating Purim this year. So tell us a little bit about this project that you started really last year over the summer and have been continuing throughout this entire school year.
Yeah. So over the summer, I decided that I wanted to write a second Megillah sofer, and you asked me if I would love to write one for Bornblum. So I said yes. I wrote the majority of it over the summer. It actually came in within one of the first couple of weeks of school, and I presented to, I think it was the first through third graders on it. And then when I brought it back to Israel when I came for my second year, and I finished it up, and I just sent it back with your own to be delivered.
So tell us a little bit about the process of writing Megillah. Why did you decide that you wanted to be a sofer and write Megillot?
I decided to be a sofer because this writing was something that at first it seemed easy. And it was something that the simple thing of just writing letters could be so complex and can be used for so many mitzvot, and really is the backbone of everything. Everything builds off upon it. Everything you find in the Torah comes from just writing it. So I wanted to learn how to write.
And why do you start with Megillat Esther? Why is that the first thing that you write as a sofer?
So Megillah Esther is one of the easiest ones to write in terms of all the stringencies that are on it, all the rules that you have to do for it. It is a lot easier than Torah. And when you write, or the hardest would be mezuzah and tefillin. You have to write in order, and you can't mess up.
And they're super small compared to a Megillah.
Super small.
Larger.
You have Hashem's name. If you mess up on Hashem's name, the whole entire thing is all messed up. But for Megillah Esther, there's no Hashem's name. It's like normal size, so you don't have to write very small. And you create out of order. Like I started from, there's 20 columns. I started from the 20th, and I did it backwards all the way to column 1. So the front of it looks a lot nicer.
And the process last year of when you learned to write Megillah, I know there was somebody at the yeshiva, actually somebody from Memphis, that many of those people who are watching and listening taught you how to write Megillah in general, how to be a sofer. Tell us a little bit about that person.
So that person is Tzvi Joffrey. He actually was a Bornblum student. That was so many years ago. And when he came to the yeshiva, he had someone who taught him how to write Megillah. And when I found out about Megillah and that they had a stop root program, a writing program, I was very invested in it. And Svi was here, and he helped teach me how to write. He was there along the process. He helped to sew my Megillah, and he was there the whole time, just helping me along the way.
It's always good to have that mentor helping you out with things. You recently took a trip that I think would be interesting for everybody to hear about. Tell us where your yeshiva went this year on their trip.
So this year, my yeshiva went to Dubai. This is the 5th year the yeshiva has done a trip, and this is, I think, the 3rd year that they went to Dubai. Last
And
year
what
we
did
went
you
to,
do in Dubai? What was, because I think that there's a nice connection here of the idea of the Purim story, which we know took place in Persia, which is not that far away from where Dubai is. So tell us about what you learned and what you did while you were in Dubai.
So while in Dubai, we learned all about the Abraham Accords. The Abraham Accords was a kind of peace treaty between Israel and various Arab nations. What we did there, we heard from a vast range of speakers who were all pro-peace with us in Israel and us Jews. And we toured around some of their famous attractions as well.
What was the most meaningful part of the trip for you?
I would say the most meaningful part of the trip was hearing from various different speakers. Yeah, because a lot of them were very, they all spoke about various different things, but the core aspect was peace, which was very strong.
And last year you guys went to Bahrain. And how did the experience in Bahrain differ from the experience in Dubai?
The experience, I think, what differed for me was Bahrain is, so they were the only, in Bahrain, you have a very indigenous Jewish community where they've been there for hundreds of years. While in Dubai, everyone there has moved there for business or for the culture. So Bahrain is very old. There's a lot of history built upon it. While Dubai, all buildings that you'll see online and in pictures, that's all only 30 years old. So that was the main difference that we all got to see, was the vast difference in terms of architecture. Culture is also very different as well, where Bahrain is very if you're in the Shuk in Jerusalem, it felt a lot like that when we were traveling around, like the Shuk in Bahrain. Well, in Dubai, it's just very high tech, and Dubai is a lot of forward thinking, which learning about that is something that even here in Israel we can learn from as well. They don't think about the present; they think a couple years into the future, and they build their buildings focused on that future, which is something that I think everyone can learn from.
So focusing on the future, this weekend, you're going to be celebrating Purim at the yeshiva. What is Purim like in Israel?
Purim in Israel, the last year I didn't get a lot of time to experience it in Jerusalem. This year, my hope is that I have a full entire day on Shushan Purim. As we know, Shushan Purim is like an extra day of Purim for walled cities of Jerusalem. So I'm going to go there and really experience everything that happens there, but it's kind of just like one big party in a way.
Great. And
it'll be very different this year, I think, because of
yeah, with everything that's going on. How have things been for you this year compared to last year with the situation in Israel?
Things have been very different. At the beginning of the year, like right when the war broke out, we were all kind of locked in Modi'in. We couldn't leave. We couldn't go tons of places. We're doing a lot of volunteering as well, which I think the positives of the war is a lot of people felt stronger connection to Israel and to the Jewish people, those of us who are here, which was very good. But it's in places it's been like a somber mood. I get notifications on things that are happening, and while it is day to day becoming a little bit less severe and stuff, and we're hearing a little bit less, but the long result we're hearing more and more, which is unfortunate.
It's interesting because there's a lot of parallels, I think, to the Purim story and all of that. right? You've had periods of mourning, just like we have with the fast coming up this week leading into Purim. You have this idea of a group of people who are set out to try and destroy the Jews, right? You have Hamas, whose sole purpose was to kill Jews and to do the horrors and the terrorism that they did. And there's kind of a connection there to what Haman was trying to do. And Haman was trying to kill the Jewish people, and through all of the different ways of what we were able to do, and maybe even Esther in some ways was like a hostage in the king's palace, right? But all of the things that happened in that story allowed us to overcome and to defeat this enemy that was set out to try and destroy us. And hopefully, with Purim coming this week, we can do the same, and we can defeat this enemy that's trying to destroy us. On Shabbat this week, we're gonna read Parshat Zachor, where we remember what Amalek tried to do to the Jewish people, and we know that Haman was a direct descendant of Amalek, and maybe our modern day Amalek is Hamas, and what they're trying to do to us today. And so there's a deep connection to the words that you wrote, and here's the beautiful case that the Megillah that you wrote is now in. And this past Friday, we presented this to the school for the kids to be able to see, but just for everybody to get a little bit more of a close-up here. This beautiful Megillah right here. And by the way, I hope I don't embarrass you by saying this, your English handwriting is so illegible, it's unbelievable. And yet you look at this, and you look at the beauty of how you wrote the words in our Megillah that we will be able to use going forward here at school. It's really just incredible. I'm very proud of you for your hard work on this. I love the fact that you were able to give it to Yaron in Israel when he was visiting with Ima this week, and that he was able to give it to me to give to the school. And this is part of Dotan's 8th grade class gift from last year, together with this beautiful case right here. And so all 3 of you are involved in this huge mitzvah, this beautiful thing that will become a piece of our school for years to come. And I want to thank you for all your hard work. It is quite beautiful. You did a wonderful job, and mazal tov to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Purim Sameach.
Thank you for having me.